Which bike is really better for the street, a 600 or a 1000? Most riders assume that bigger means better, but is that really true? And even though this topic has been beat to the ground, there are still 3 important things that you need to consider before you make your decision. Your personal skill level and level of experience, what you're actually going to use the bike for, and the power and performance of each machine. But in today's video, I'm going to attempt to show you the difference rather than kind of verbally tell you what the difference is. Are you upgrading from a beginner bike, or is this your first motorcycle? In reality, these are not first bikes or beginner bikes, neither of them. If you want to learn how to pick your first motorcycle or the bike that's right for you, check out this video right here. Now, let's assume that you're experienced. Maybe you're transferring from the cruiser world to the sport bike world, or listen, you've been riding for a while, you're experienced, you are not a beginner. The 600 is going to be a few pounds lighter with a less twitchy throttle and substantially more friendly power delivery. Matter of fact, let me show you.
A 600 is significantly more forgiving against bad inputs. So even if you come from a cruiser, you still got to be careful, more so on a 1000 than you do on a 600. 7,000 RPMs, third gear, cruising here, and on a 600, I could accidentally give it too much throttle, and it takes time for that power to develop. So I'm moving back and forth here, but that front wheel isn't coming up from just bad throttle input. Maybe you can get it to do a power wheelie in first gear, but in reality, nobody's taking off with too much throttle in first gear unless you're, you know, super crazy brand new. And when you take off on a 1000 and you literally do the same thing, the front tire, you can't tell on video, but that front tire is literally skipping off the ground every time you go like this. You can feel the suspension hit full extension and that front wheel lift off the ground. The same little mistake picks the front wheel up. Second gear, 5,000 RPMs. This thing can pick the front wheel up if you literally just like snap on the throttle. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It has to do with the low down power, but it also has to do with the amount of torque that this thing has at the low end.
The 1000 doesn't play around. The front wheel likes to come up very easily. These things on average have about 60 to 70 more horsepower than a 600. Those numbers just climb so much faster. And trust me, once you ride a 1000, you will understand. But to show you, I'm going to take both of these machines, put them in 6th gear, and go from 40 to 80 and see how long it takes. This is essentially just going to show you the difference in low end, bottom end torque. This is not horsepower, this is not brute power. It's torque at the lower register of the RPM, which is where you drive, where it is the least forgiving when you compare these two back and forth. You have a little bit of wiggle room on the 600, not so much on the 1000.
And to show you how much power that really is, 6th gear, 40 to 80. This is pure torque acceleration. This is not using the power of the bike. This is low end in the RPM, just pure torque. And look at how much faster a 1000 gets to 80 than a 600. And this is going to be pinned at full throttle. This is pure torque, 100% pure torque. And we are at 40. Oh yeah! Nothing. We're getting somewhere. Holy crap, bro. There we go. That's nothing. That really is nothing. 6th gear, 40 miles an hour, literally the same thing that we just did. How quickly can we get to 80 from here? And it's so much faster. Here we go. 40, or actually that's not 40. 40. There we are. We should look at that side by side.
Once you're comfortable and you know that you're ready for either a 1000 or a 600, the main difference is how are you going to use the motorcycle? Are you commuting? Are you doing long travel on the highway? Are you doing a bunch of back road riding? Are you going to be riding 2 up? Is it just a weekend warrior, or is it just a garage queen? Most people, such as myself, have a vehicle. We don't ride every single day. And some people ride every day. I personally ride 2-up from time to time, and for that, a 1000 is so much better. The low end torque makes it easy to control. You don't feel that power drop off the same way that you do on a 600, where as soon as you put someone else on the bike, you have to feel like you're wringing the throttle out. The 1000 kind of just handles it. But what happens to those people that actually do go on weekend rides, that live near mountains where they can go over twisty roads, and they don't live in a flat, barren desert like I do in Florida, where the only real fun we can have is twisting the throttle in a straight line? And in those situations, 600s are a lot more fun. They're a little bit lighter, on average about 30 pounds, give or take. Once you're riding, you really can't tell the difference. But when you get it on a mountain road and you're going through twisties between 40, 80 miles per hour, the slower speed twisties, tighter bends, the 600 is so much better to ride. Unless you're on a long straight, you really can't go past 50 to 60% throttle on a 1000. It's just so understressed, unless you're pushing it full throttle, that it's kind of boring. But when you actually get up to speed, you're so focused on making sure that you don't make a mistake with the throttle, because any sort of extra input, the front wheel comes up, the back end will spin out. This bike, even going around the neighborhood at second gear, third gear, 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs on a colder day, because it was in the 40s a couple days ago, it still spins, which is crazy. Like, you're going 30 miles an hour. There's no reason for this bike to be spinning. And to show you how differently these machines handle in a turn in this scenario, check it out.
So here we are, 50 miles an hour, second gear, going through a couple little twisties, 8 to 10,000 RPM, so we're just at the bottom of the power band, but I still have room. Like, I can lean into the throttle, I can let off. Even in this area right here, which now we're getting closer to 70, I can play around with the throttle and still have some fun, and I'm not worried about like too much throttle. I'm on and off the throttle mid-turn, and I don't have any issues, and then I can power through the outside of that. And there aren't any issues. It's not breaking traction, it's not jumping me off the road, it's not slipping the back tire, it's not powering up in the front. It's so much more calm and relaxed. Outside of those like 14,000 to 16,000 RPMs, this bike is much more easier to manage. And right here, 50 miles an hour, second gear, same as on the 600, we're at 6,000 RPMs versus like 10,000 RPMs. But this is like where the power band starts to kick in. So you gotta be careful. I don't know if you saw that. I shot like 20 miles an hour right there, just on that little bit of, just on that little bit of throttle. So right here, 50 miles an hour, 6,000 RPMs, leaned over on the side of the tire, you slap the throttle and I'm not dumb enough to just slap the throttle like that mid-corner. Come on now. You have to ease into it. You have to progress. It takes so much more mental effort. It's not even funny.
But I will say this. If you're commuting back and forth to work or in traffic with a little bit of highway, the 1000's better.
And just right here, it's so much more stable. Like, I'm in 6th gear, 67 miles an hour, chilling, one hand, and I can do, well, not anymore, but I can literally, I don't have to downshift. I can just give it more throttle, check where I'm going, and poof, I'm at 80 miles an hour, just like that. So effortless, so minimal input, and it's more stable behind the turbulence of the cars, which kind of push you back and forth. On a 600, you feel that. On a 1000, you don't feel that unless you're like way up here. But if you're kind of leaned over a little bit, kind of tucked in your bubble, you don't actually even feel the side-to-side turbulence that you get when driving behind or riding behind another car. It's just so much more stable.
And that brings me to power. The 1000 is faster. It just is. About 170 to 180 horsepower on most used 1000, with the brand new stuff coming in close to that 200 horsepower mark. There isn't a 600 on planet Earth that has cracked 130 horsepower, and there probably never will be. But that doesn't mean that these things are slow in any way, shape, or form. I recently did a poll on my channel and I asked what was the best horsepower number per different category of bike, and between 100 and 150 horsepower is what most people agreed for most motorcycles, super sports included, and that's exactly where these 600s land. They crack that power level right where you begin to feel it in your body, where your butt starts to slide back when you give it throttle, where you have to begin to hold on and pay attention as you start to apply the power, but it's not as aggressive as a 1000. So it's the cusp of what begins to be a little bit too much power, but it's still fun. And those last 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, those are very, very aggressive. When I ride a 1000, I still have fun, I still smile, I still laugh, but sometimes, just sometimes, like, you know, basically every time you twist the throttle, you do have to shut up and focus on what it is that you're doing to keep the rear end from spinning out, to keep the front end from lifting. You actually have to focus on what you're doing. So yes, I do have fun, but it's not really as stress-free as it is on a 600. You do have to focus a lot more. And my God, when you twist the throttle on this thing, these numbers climb so much faster. You really do have to be committed. If not, it will bite you in the backside and it won't apologize. And to show you guys this, I'm gonna take both of these machines out, go out, second gear, 50, 60 miles an hour, twist the throttle for about the same amount of time, and just see which one gets to a bigger number.
All right, let's see what happens at the top. So 60 miles an hour, second gear, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know how fast I was, but I counted to 7. We'll use an actual timer in the video though. This GoPro's giving me crap today, so we're gonna have to do this a little differently than I expected. Hopefully I can zoom in and get a stable shot of that speed. I believe we had an 11.1 on the 600, but if not, I'll shoot it again and you guys won't even have known what happened. So here we are, let's see what happens. Second gear, how long can we stay in and how fast can we go? Wow! Whee-hoo! I need to clarify this because I'm gonna put these two side by side and you're gonna see that, but I just want you to know that wasn't full throttle. I don't even have enough space to like go here. It's like I'm there, look, I'm there now. I'm there now. Because that's where I want to be. It doesn't matter what gear you're in. You can just go. This is 6th gear. 6th gear. I'm there now. That was 70 to 110.
So yeah, the 1000 has a great amount of power, and we all know that with great power comes great prices. Everything on the 1000 is just that much more expensive. I wouldn't say that the maintenance cost is more expensive because they use the same spark plug, so literally it's the same price. They use the same oil, they're all 3 quarts of 1040, but everything on the 1000 wears out a lot faster. For example, if you put the same tire on this machine and on this machine, the 1000 will wear that tire out about 1,000 miles sooner than the 600 will. It just doesn't last as long. That's true with the brakes, that's true with the fuel economy. It's a bigger engine, it's just gonna burn more fuel. So the maintenance cost, although the items themselves may be about the same, you just do it more often on the 1000. And that is not including the hard part replacement. Shocks are going to be more expensive, calipers are going to be more expensive, the tech stuff is going to be more expensive because usually the 1000s have a little bit more premium materials over what a 600 would offer. So a 1000 is simply better for just traffic maneuvering, just normal traffic, back and forth, riding with someone else, and going balls to the wall. It's a faster bike. The 600 is better for everything else. Taking corners, riding a little bit more spirited within the limit in terms of being a little bit more relaxed, enjoying a cruise where you don't have to focus so much. The 600 is gonna be better. So, which one are you taking? A 600 or 1000? Comment below, let me know. If you like old bikes like this right here, check out the link in the description for one of these shirts just to help me get more bikes like this on the channel. And if not, it's okay. Check out this video right here. I promise checking out this video actually helps more than subscribing, but you should subscribe too. Thank you guys for watching.